Hello, everybody, and welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you all for tuning into the show today. So I have an interesting topic, and I'm kind of watching the chat room, but the person I'm waiting for is not here, so I'll just wait till the break. So on Monday was the anniversary of my late husband's passing. And I know that sounds terrible, but it made me think about doing a show where I talk about stories about death and dying that I've experienced. They're more like dying, close to dying stories. And they still always kind of trip me out when I think about them, because they are, well, I mean, they're sad, but you do this psychic stuff and then stuff happens and it still trips you out when stuff happens that you aren't expecting things to happen. And they do, but then they're weird, even for me. And I've been doing this a long time. So the first story I want to share, and these are in chronological order, so they're not like in order of importance or this one's cooler or whatever, but in chronological order. So this story is about my neighbor. His name was Larry. He lived in the house. So I lived on a street that ended in a cul-de-sac, and they lived on the cul-de-sac, and the second story patio on my house looked into their backyard. So Kiko, my first poodle, was in love with them because they like to barbecue and they would give her the bones over the fence. Anyway, but we were friends, and Jane's grandfather lived with them. And I mean, we got along really good. And so one day, and it had snowed, so it was just kind of strange. I hear an ambulance come down the street, and I don't really think that much about it. But then a fire truck comes down the street, and my mind goes into overdrive, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Grandpa. I mean, there are only 5 houses on the cul-de-sac, so, super easy process of elimination. It's Grandpa. So I throw some shoes on, grab a jacket, run out of the house, go around to the back to their back door. Jane opens the door. It's not Grandpa. It's Larry. And Larry's laying on the living room floor, and they're doing CPR on him. So me being me, I look, and what I see is there's his body, and then hovering over his body was kind of this like golden light thing that kind of was shaped like his body. And so me being me, I'm like giving him a grounding cord, doing this, trying to shove him back inside, trying to have a conversation with him. I'm doing all of these things to get him to come back, because he wasn't really old. Relatively speaking, he was really not that old. And it was shocking, to be honest. And so I'm doing my thing on him. And at one point in time, I catch a glimpse of something in the corner of my eye, and I turn my head, and standing in the back door, leaning against the counter, is Larry. And because I'm like, Larry, go back, go back. That's what I'm saying inside. And I see Larry, and he looks at me and he goes, God damn it, I don't want to go back. He was kind of a mean old cuss, but I loved him. And I just stopped. I just stopped working on him. And it's like, if you don't want to go, if you don't want to go back, I ain't gonna make you go back. And what happened after that was so profound. So that glowing yellow light kind of raised up, not much after I stopped working on him, raised up, and then it started to expand, and it became like a donut, and it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, to where it went literally through the room, through me, through his wife, and Larry left the building. I mean, he was gone. And so I'm thinking, this is just me, this is just my weird thing. But she could feel it. She could feel him moving through her. It was intense and very cool, and an experience I'll never forget. So, but things like that happen. I mean, fortunately, I already was working as a psychic, so it wasn't like some very weird coincidence. But, so years go by, and I have to preface this with, I'm really not a dreamer. And like, I'm sure that I probably do dream, but my normal MO is go to bed within 15 to 20 minutes. I am out cold, and short of being cold or having to pee, I'm out. And there can be an explosion. You can get in and out of the bed. You can put the TV on. You can turn the light on. It really doesn't matter. I don't wake up. And all during that, it's like lights out. And then I wake up in the morning, and it's just dead airspace in between. So with that said, one night I have this dream, and it's my Uncle Johnny's in it. And we're in this like space, this kind of gray space with white smoky kind of stuff, and he's really far away from me, but he's working his way over toward me because he wanted me to do some Reiki on him, which I thought was really weird because I didn't know if he even knew what Reiki was, or that I did Reiki, or anything. It was just really out of the ordinary for that to have happened, and him want that. And so as he's getting closer to me, and he's maybe 10 feet away, he just stops and he goes, no, I'm okay now, and turned around and left. And I woke up. And I was like, huh, okay. And it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. And I was waiting for the phone call. I mean, because, you're in this genre long enough, it's kind of like there's a piece of you that knows like that's what it was, but maybe not, it could be. I've never had that happen before. So it was a little unexpected. And about 10 o'clock that morning, my mom called me and told me that he had passed. And I was really nice, and I didn't ask, was it about 5 o'clock in the morning? Because I'm pretty sure it was probably about 5 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, so here's my Wayne story. So my husband Wayne had been diagnosed with small cell carcinoma it had metastasized. It was everywhere. And he was in hospice, but the hospice workers came to the house. And so he just had a hospital bed in the living room. I worked from home. It worked, in the big picture, it worked out good. I moved my computer downstairs so I could be with him all day. And And at the time, I had Bitsy, the infamous poodle with the tinfoil hat. So if you're a Facebook person, you've seen Bitsy's picture. She's my little profile picture, the poodle in the tinfoil hat. Superstar, 280,000 Facebook fans. Anyway, Bitsy was not the most rambunctious dog on the planet. And you could like come to the door and you could let the person in, and then she would maybe wake up and then bark, but she didn't, I mean, not a very good watchdog at all. And so for some reason, she would get during this period, like toward the very end, she would get up and she would go to the door and then stand there and bark 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 and bark. And I'm like, come on, there's nobody there. And she'd keep barking and barking to the point that I would literally open the door and go, see, there's nobody there. And I'd close the door. So it happened again. And it was like, nobody there. I mean, you're kind of pissing me off here. But this wasn't like the same day. This was like in a couple of days, she did it again. So when it happened the third time, my little like intuitive brain turned on. I'm like, I wonder. And I opened the door and there are all these freaking people standing outside my door. I mean, granted, there was a screen, but they're all standing outside the door. So I opened the screen and I'm like, come on in. And I look around my house and it is jam-packed with people. And I have to tell you, when, I was trying to sort it out, because I just made the assumption it would be like family member type people that would be there. But a lot of the people that were there were these young military men. And it took me a minute to kind of make the connection of what was going on. So Wayne had served during the Vietnam era. He did spend time in the Southeast Asia, not in Vietnam, but in Southeast Asia for one tour. But he was primarily stationed in Germany. But they would send all of these young military people. That was like, they would get you stabilized wherever you were, and then you would get sent to Germany because that's where the main hospital was. And that's where he worked. And what I gleaned from these young men was he was there and was with them as they transitioned into the light, and they were going to be there to return the favor to him, which made me cry. So I'm in my living room, like talking to all these invisible dead people, and I'm like, yeah, and crying. But then there was another little piece that happened. So he took his last breath, and then Close to You by the Carpenters came on, and there's a whole long story that goes with that song and him and that song, and which I'm not going to go into, but it is pretty funny. But then, because he was really all about music, and if you were making a comment back and forth, it would always, the best ones came from a music lyric. That was just our thing. But anyway, so I sang Close to You with him, using his words, because he changed the song around and to just like you long to be close to me. So anyway, but then the next song came on, and it was Styx, Come Sail Away, and the song's going on, but then, a gathering of angels stood before my head, and this is the song of hope, and this is what they said, come sail away. And I was like, wow, is he like kind of explaining to me what he's seeing and what he's experiencing? But then the song goes on and it transitions from, oh, I thought they were angels, but really they're aliens, and I'm getting into the UFO and we're going to fly away. Come sail away. Very telling. Made me smile. And I'm like, well, we really don't know what's on the other side. Do you get to hang out with aliens? It could happen. Then the last one I'm going to share has to do with my dad. So my dad had suffered a couple of strokes and was, I'm just going to say he was paralyzed. And so we were taking turns staying in the room with him and my mom. And the night before I slept on the floor, that night I got the recliner. And, I closed my eyes and I wasn't even sure I was going to sleep. But apparently I nodded off. And then the next thing I know, my grandmother, my grandfather, and my great grandmother, so all of my dad's relatives, are there, like, boom, in my face right there. And I was like, holy shit, he's gone. Open my eyes, go over to the bed, and he's gone. And I had slept for maybe 20 minutes. So, so if you've had things like this happen to you, if you've had experiences with people that, are in the process of passing, or, anything like that, own those experiences, because they are coming to you to share messages with you in that moment. So even though it makes me feel good to kind of share these stories with you, I hope that you glean some information that maybe you could use in your own life. So that's my hope. Anyway, all right, so hang on one second. I need to see if Veronica is here. Veronica, where are you? All right, well, I'm just going to say this. Okay, so our Veronica, who we see in the chat room all the time, she came to the East Texas UFO conference that was this past weekend that I spoke at, and talked about reptilians. And she gave me this shirt. Look, I have an official Svengoolie t-shirt. And I just wanted to thank her. And I told her I would wear it today, but she's not here. So, oh well, I did it. Anyway, so I'm going to start taking readings here in a minute. But remember that I'm only doing very general readings. And if there's things going on in your life that you need some more information on, a deeper insight into a particular issue, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, if you need somebody to talk to, if you need to kind of work through things and get some intuitive guidance in one way or the other, please go to my website and set up a time for an appointment. My site is soulhealer.com. There's books and videos and all kinds of great stuff there. And while you're there, please don't forget to sign up for my newsletter. And also in the comments, tied to the video, are all my social media links. And I would really appreciate it if you would go to the different ones and like and subscribe or join or whatever the hell they want you to do, because that would just help the circulation of this show. Also, I would love it if you see the listing that the show is coming up. If you could share it with people while you're sitting here right now, if you could share it with your peeps, especially if you're on Facebook, I would just really appreciate it. So this show does show up on different platforms that you can't enter into the chat area. And the only ways you can do that is through Facebook, which apparently has been acting up, and through YouTube. And so the easiest one is YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel, Just Energy Radio on YouTube. That's 3 words, Just Energy Radio. Subscribe and set up the notifications. That would be really great. But 7 p.m. Central, go and click that live link and it will bring you into the show and let you interact. Okay, so let me go over to the little comment area. And so, and I keep saying this, but no one's really paying attention to me. But if you're making a comment directly to me, if you could type it in all caps so I can separate out general conversation versus something that's coming to me, I would really appreciate that. And if you're new here and haven't ever gotten a reading, all you need to do is put, I would like a reading, and then a number from 1 to 3, and that's how many times I'll shuffle. And then you can say I have like great hair and you love me and you love the show, and you can say like all kinds of great stuff, because I will say that out loud. So I'm just going to go through, and as I hit someone that would like to get a reading, I'm just going to stop there, do the reading, and continue. So if I don't say hi to you for a little bit, I'm getting there. Say, hey, Karen, nice to see you again. Amy, I am always happy to see you. See, Alice is getting good at this. She's like, Hi, Rita. Can I have a reading? Number 1. Thank you. Okay, Alice. So I need to clear these cards because I did not. And so I'm going to do that first, and then I will shuffle for you. All right. So Alice, number 1. Okay, Alice, so that's your card. So Alice, I'm kind of getting 2 pieces of information. I think they're related. I mean, I know they're related, but I'm not sure in which way. You know, so I'm seeing that there's some, I'm going to say, issues around your work. And the question that I have is, are they not paying you enough money? Or have you been looking for a job? Because I feel like one will come in that is going to pay you more money. I get the impression that when you go to work, you try to work really hard and it's really not appreciated. And I feel like you would be okayer where you're at if they were just nicer people and more respectful and more appreciative of you. You know, so if you haven't started to look for another job, I think now would be the appropriate time. I feel like the fortunes are in your favor because I do feel like there, and I'm saying that because I feel like there's more money out there for you. So I hope that makes sense to what's going on in your life right now. And if it is, please let me know below. Hi, Antone. Really super nice seeing you. Kelly, hi, nice seeing you. Nina. So if you're not a follower of Nina, she posts a whole bunch of really great stuff that I'm always stealing on Facebook. And so see, Nina, I'm going to get you like some more people. And so if you want, become her friend. And she would like a reading, and she wants number 3 because number 3 is a magical number. And in my opinion, Nina, 3 is the only number. Unless it's a venti, if you're going to Starbucks, then that's the only size. But that really is 3, you know, like small, grande, and venti. So that still is a 3. Okay. All right, Nina, so that's your card for today. Well, it's kind of interesting, Nina, and please let me know if this is making sense for you. But I'm almost feeling like you're getting bored. I know that, you know, the energy on the planet really affects you. And I feel like it used to affect you a lot, but things have really changed and you become like a whole lot more chill to it. But then there's this part of you that's like, well, it used to, like, I used to have to deal with all of this stuff. And now I really don't have to deal with all of this stuff. And there's almost like it's a little boring for you, if that makes any sense at all. And it's almost like you're ready for your next big adventure, but there's another party that's like, but I'm not done with this one yet. The boredom part's interesting to me. So let me know if that makes sense to you. Nina Wade, Christine. Hi, Christine. Uner. Hi, Uner. I came back. Well, you know, Uner, one, if I had my glasses on, I could be like, is that 2 N's or an M? And yeah, I'm going to, sorry. And I really appreciate you letting me like have no phonics skills because I really don't. Okay, Mr. B and friend and truth seeker. Hi, guys. Well, Chris, Thank you, Chris. So Chris says happy birthday. Thank you, Chris. Nice seeing you. Kelly says, I am interested in a reading to number 3. Sorry for the loss. No, it's okay. It was, there have been people, there's been a lot of people who've been experiencing loss. And I made a comment when I posted about it on Monday, because it was Monday, that it's getting easier. And on some level, it is easier because I don't think about it all the time. But when I do think about it, I still cry. I mean, I haven't really gotten past that point, and I definitely am not indifferent to the whole thing. I don't know. It's weird. The whole thing's weird. Okay. Kelly, what do you got going on? Here's your card for today. Okay, so I feel like you're being given a choice, and the guidance that I'm being given is take the one on the right, take the door on the right. I don't know if you have things lined up like, I could do this, this, and in your mind, they're always kind of in the same order. It's take the one on the right. And it's interesting because I feel like it's the one that you know the least about, so maybe that is part of it, is to do some homework and do some research into that thing. I feel like it's going to take you on a different but wonderful journey. Kind of into the unknown and unexplained for you, not in the big picture, but for you. Okay, so that was like really weird and really vague, even for me. So let me know if this, like, pick the one on the right makes sense, because they keep going this one, this one, this one, which this is my right. I have to wait, right. Okay. Austin, hey Austin, and he would like a reading too, number 3. You sure can. Okay, and this is your card. So Austin, and I know that we had talked about this, so I'm just going to kind of stand on the back of this. I mean, I do feel that travel is in your future, but when I look at the travel, I'm not seeing it being really far away. I feel like it's going to, at this time, okay, I'm not talking like a year from now, but at this time, I'm feeling like you just need to be like more around your people, if that makes sense. But I also am saying that I also don't see you going home. And you know where I mean when I say going home. I don't mean there. Perhaps somewhere you've been before, that you've made some friends, perhaps someplace new. I'm feeling like you need an adventure. I'm feeling like doing something like that will lift your energy and help you to reset. And so maybe that's something you need to look at. When I'm saying going on a journey, I'm talking about like a weekend, a long weekend, just to regroup, to have some Austin time, and have some play time, because I feel like that's what you're lacking, is some play time. And I feel like you haven't played kind of in a long time. So it's time for you to go play. I feel like that other travel will happen down the road, but I don't predict the future. But I'm feeling like this is more short term, um, to help you navigate what's going on today until you can get to the place to do that other traveling. Hope that helps. Okay, Christine would like a reading number 2. All right, Christine. And this is your card for today. So, Christine, I feel like you've had kind of and I'm going to say a breakthrough. Um, so I'm just going to say it this way, and this might be a little over the top, but it's kind of like you've allowed your inner bitch to come out. I feel like there's part of you that is a little afraid for your true thoughts and feelings to come to the surface. And so having the guts to have that part of yourself come out, I think is really great. Because I feel like it's time. It's time for you to take more control of what's going on in your life and in your energy space. And if you don't like it, shoo before a house falls on you too, kind of thing. So good job. It's a great first step. Good job. All right. So Karen would like a reading. And she would like number 2. Okay, and that's your card for today. Interesting, Karen. What you're showing me is that it's like you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I feel like as you're moving toward it, like your feet are in tar or in mud and it's going really slow, and there's all of this effort in getting there. And I would like to make the suggestion: find joy in what you're doing, because and if you can't find joy, find gratitude in what you're doing, because that will sit there and help lift your feet up and help propel you to the light at the end of the tunnel. Because when in Kabbalah, they talk about, okay, and I'm going to say it's Gabora and Netzit. I don't have my paper in front of me, and so I'm not going to, but on the 3rd chakra, there's willpower. I have to pay I have to pay bills. I need to balance my checkbook. I need to clean the bathtub. And then there's the power of joy and pleasure, where you sit down and you're playing a game and hours go by, or you're working in the garden and hours go by. Now, some people can be too far over into the pleasure part, and so they kind of don't really get stuff done, or they're really spacey. And then people can be too much into the I have to do this kind of thing. But if you find a balance, if you can find the pleasure in the work and let go of the I have to, it makes it so that time moves on, time flies by, but you're getting things done. Does that make sense? And I hope that helps you in moving forward. So Kelly says, yes, life is unexpected, which is why people go to psychics. like me, like all of y'all going to soulhealer.com and scheduling an appointment. All right. RLCC says, hi, Dr. Rita. Did you have a birthday yesterday? Happy birthday. I did have a birthday yesterday, and it was a happy birthday. And yeah, it was happy. I wasn't quite so sure about it. You know, there's really not anything worse than like have somebody that you love die and then saying to the mortician, it's like, you know, I don't really care when you schedule the event, you know, this funeral thing. I go, but not on my birthday, because that would really suck. You know, so I've just had a lot of energy floating around, and I wasn't quite sure how my birthday was going to be, but it turned out to be an excellent day. Excellent. So thank you. All right. Amy would love a reading today, number 2. Raylan. Okay, so not only is Raylan in here, the cat's in here, which means, you know, all hell can break loose. Who knows? Ooh, Amy. I don't know if this might be Unar's, but this is the card that came up for you. All right, Amy. So I'm just feeling like you're having some bad brain right now. And I think maybe just acknowledging that you're having bad brain will help you get out of the bad brain that you're having right now. You know, one of the things that I've learned is that when I have bad brain, then the world kind of blows up in my face, and that really sucks. I'm just feeling, and I'm just going to like make a statement kind of to everybody, but I feel like the negative thoughts that you're having are more, they're being triggered by old stuff. And I feel like what's going on around you right now, if you weren't triggered, it would be kind of a non-issue and you would have walked by it and moved on a long time ago. You know, and so maybe take a step back and just reassess the situation, recognize that you have bad brain, find something with, you know, good to do, count, meditate, go for a walk, do things to sit there and shift that thought pattern in your head so that you can come back and back into the present moment and refocus. Okay? Okay, so Uner, see, I'm just going to come up with like all kinds of different names. Said, can I get a reading? I lost my brother a week and a half ago. And it's interesting. One of my really, really good friends, Michael. Well, Michael, he's been in the chat before. He just lost his sister to this whole weird ate at Sonic and got food poisoning, and less than 2 weeks later is freaking dead. I'm like, anyway, her funeral service is on Saturday. And so I don't talk to dead people, so I'm just like putting that out up front. And I'm very sorry for your loss. It can be hard. All right. All right, and this card came up for you, which actually seems very fitting for right now. You know, so, and this might sound really terrible, you know, there's a loss of your brother, but I feel like there has been other losses that you've experienced, like losses in the same way that you've experienced in your past, and you were emotionally unable to really grieve them in the way that you needed to. And I feel like that's coming up as well. You know, so use this opportunity. I mean, I feel like there's a lot that's changed inside of you over the past I'm going to say 10 years. You know, a lot of healing that's happened inside of you. You know, and so with this emotional energy coming up, use it as an opportunity to grieve your brother, but anybody else who possibly comes to mind that you were unable to grieve at that point in time. I feel like this is a really wonderful opportunity for you to do some really deep healing and release work. So good job. Good job. And then Kelly said, wow, it's seeing Larry. I'm like, yeah, seeing Larry stand there. Actually, what tripped me out the most was him, God damn it, I don't want to go back, which was like, okay, that was definitely Larry. All right, RLCC would like a reading and would like number 1. All right, RLCC. Bam. That's your card for today. Okay, so RLCC, I'm going to make the assumption that you have, and I'm going to say a new project that you're working on. I feel like when I look at your energy, your brain is like moving around and there's all these things flying in and out of it, like you're trying to plan it or put it into some kind of order so that it makes sense, so that once you create this order, then you can move forward with it. I mean, I don't really have any guidance. I feel like when, you know, the best way I can say, you know, at some point in time, you'll hit the 777 and everything will fall into place. Actually, piece of advice, the more you can relax, the more you can shift your energy and shift your focus from being engrossed in those thoughts and trying to figure it out, the easier it will be for it to fall into place for you. I hope that makes sense. And again, everybody that I've done readings for, let me know if what I've said makes any sense. Hi, Mark Eddie. How are you? I'm doing great. Thanks for joining us. So Karen says, wish I could sleep like that. Good for you. It's like, Karen, it's been like that my whole life except for recently because now I pee way too much. So, and then Eric says, hola, Rita, happy belated birthday. Thank you so much. And Don's here. Hey, Don. He says he would like to get a reading number 2. Okay. That's if I don't drop the cards everywhere. Don, why do you keep doing this? All right, that card came up. No, I'm going to go with this one. All right, so I'm just going to go with this one for a partial shift. You know, so as you may recall, these are called mask cards, and they come up where there's something you don't want to look at, that there's something blocked, that there is something that you're in denial about. And so Don, I get the impression that's a really deep, you know, I want to say old, but it doesn't seem old, but deep stuff is starting to come to the surface, is starting to trickle into your awareness. I don't know if you're noticing that. I'm hoping that you are, because I feel like by addressing that stuff that's bubbling to the surface is really going to help guide you in your transformation. And it might be a thought of something that happened, 20 years ago, however many years ago, that you hadn't thought about in a super long time. And I feel like it's coming up to the surface for you to acknowledge it, heal it, and clear it. Okay? And Margie's here. Hey, girl. Dom wants to know if I got my hair trimmed. It's like, yeah, I'm not so thrilled with it. So it'll grow back in. That's the one good thing about hair. It grows back in. Hi, Marco. All right. Amy says, I have had experience where someone that died passed through me to say goodbye. And I was in Florida and they died in Connecticut. And I knew exactly who they were. Energy was the only explanation I can find. Oh, I totally agree. And Kelly says, thank you for sharing your stories. And then Karen said, thanks for sharing, very moving. And then Alice, hey, Alice says, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Rita. It was yesterday, but I'll accept the birthday thing. Eric says, let me know if you got time to read me now. And I kind of eyeballed down. I'd like number 2. So, Eric, I'm going to do number 2. Okay. All right. That's your card for today. Okay, so let me know if this makes sense for you, but I feel like you have been feeling like your life has been really kind of upside down, callywampered, out of control, out of sync, just like not working in the way you thought it should or could or whatever. But I feel like that's shifting. I feel like things are leveling out and stabilizing, and there's more foundation and firmness for you to move forward on. I get the impression that you've actually been really doing a lot of work and you have started to create a different foundation in which to build. And it doesn't mean that things won't get callywampered again, but I'm feeling like it won't be as bad as it was because you have been working on and developing tools to help make that process be shorter, or just not get there in the first place. But that never happens. We always end up back somewhere at some point in time. But it's okay to breathe a sigh of relief, because I feel like, and I'm going to say this, and it's not the quiet before the storm. I feel like there's part of you that's waiting for the next shoe to drop. And I'm just going to say you have a little bit of time. I mean, I never know when the next shoe is going to drop, but when I look at your energy, I feel like you have some smooth sailing, at least for a little while. So, like a week or two. All right, Chris would like a reading number 1. Oops. All right, well, you wanted 1, Chris, but I'm doing more. So, haha. All right, see, that was 1. Okay, and that's your card for today. All right, so Chris, how's that husband of yours? I'm just feeling like you're worried about him. So it's a little hard for me to even sit there and talk about you, because I feel like all your energy is out there. And, if I'm going to say something to you, that you need to make sure you're taking care of yourself. It's not that you shouldn't take care of him, but you need to make sure that you don't burn yourself out in your worry and your, Jewish mothering, everything that's going on. I'm not like feeling like it's that bad yet, but I really am picking up that worry, and if what I'm feeling is really what's going on, maybe you should schedule a private consultation with me and we can talk in a lot more depth, because I'm not going to get into that here. So, okay. Stuart! Okay, so this is like my brother from another mother-ish, kind of. And his birthday was on Tuesday. Happy birthday, Stuart! Okay, so let me know if you want a reading, but you need to be very quick because, it might be too late. All right, Linda Kennedy. Hi, Linda Kennedy. Would like a reading, and she would like number 3. Okay, well, this card came up once before, but they always read different for different people. So, Linda, one of the things that I'm sensing around you is kind of like fatigue or a lot of effort. I'm feeling like, there's not enough time, or there's anxiety around time, or there's not enough time in the day that kind of gets you overwhelmed in what's going on. And it's interesting because there really is this time aspect. There's an earthquake. Sorry, I have to stop banging on the table. That there really is this time element for you. And if you just give yourself permission to have whatever is going to happen in whatever time it's going to happen in, that will help alleviate some of the anxiety that you're feeling. And I feel like it would be a much more enjoyable project or work or whatever you're doing, and not create so much. Because I feel like the mental fatigue is creating the physical fatigue. And so if you could calm down the mental fatigue, then your body will respond in kind. Hope that makes sense. Okay. And then Marco says, hair and makeup on point. Yeah, but I got a Spanguli t-shirt too. How cool is that? All right, Antone would like a reading. Number 3. Ooh, Antone, you got a mask card. Ooh, you got a yucky card right behind that. And a not great card there. And another mask card. All right, but this is a good card. Okay, the one right after that, another mask card, but we're not going there. Ooh. Antone, what do you got going on? Okay, let's see. So, Antone, have you been feeling trapped And it's hard for me to segregate out whether like you feel trapped in your job, trapped in a relationship, but just trapped, like I really don't have a choice. I have to do this and I really don't have a choice. But the reality is that we always have a choice. And I'm just going to use relationship as an example. It's like, people will sit there, well, I can't leave. It's like, you always can. We just tell ourselves that we can't. And many times it's because we don't want to face the pain, or we don't want to face the separation and loss, or we don't want to have to start over again, or we don't want to deal with the financial part of it. So there are these things that keep us trapped in situations. And I'm feeling like you're feeling trapped that way too. And so maybe it's time to sit there and look at what you're feeling trapped in, and what are the alternatives, and because then it becomes a you know uh, risk analysis, and uh, a benefit analysis, because maybe you're not trapped. Maybe part of you thinks you're trapped, but really there is a way out. Um, and if there is no way out, and we come to that realization that there's no way out, then maybe it's time for us to sit there and say, okay, well then I need to just accept that this is the situation, and what do I do from here? I hope that makes sense. And please let me know if what I'm saying is working for you. And I'm going to mix up these mask cards, man, having four of them show up in such a short period. And then Alice says, thanks for taking my first reading. And Amy says, happy birthday, many happy returns. And I'm going to take Joe's reading. Hey, Miss Joe, my number one fan. And I'm going to take your reading, but you are going to be my last one for today. And it's because I like you. Okay. Okay, Joe, so this is the card that came up for you. Interesting. So I get the impression that a situation happened with someone that you know, and you are looking at the situation and deciding whether or not you want to stay or you want to exit. I feel like you really haven't made a final decision, although I feel like you feel, the loss and the separation. But it's interesting because when I kind of check in with the whole thing, I'm also not feeling like there's been a whole lot of benefit for you from it. Um, so I don't know if that helps with the decision or the situation. Anyway, guys, I am going to just kind of scroll through these to see if anybody had any feedback on the readings, and then I'm going to cut out Ohora. Hi, Ohora. Kelly says she's going to get a full reading from me soon. That would be great. Happy birthday. Thanks, Yvonne. So Christine says, you are very true. My inner bitch truly has been coming out, and I'm glad it is. Thank you. A horse says, happy birthday. Christine says, happy birthday. Unar says, thank you, Rita. I like you. Thank you. I like you too. So RLCC says, my husband has the same birthday. So my boyfriend's son's birthday was yesterday too. Isn't that cool? Hi, Miss Denise Smith. Linda says, that does make sense. I'm having to plan retirement in a couple of years and need to get the energy and mindset to start getting rid of material possessions. Thanks and happy birthday. And then Linda says, I will reach out to you soon. That'll be great. Anybody, it's 8 o'clock, which means it's time for me to go. Again, if I've sparked something in you. If you need some inside guidance, you need somebody to talk to, someone to just listen to you, please go to my website, soulhealer.com, and set up a time for a private consultation. Don't forget to sign up for my newsletter while you're there. And please go to my social media sites that are listed below and like and subscribe and, follow, whatever they want you to do, because that will just help grow my base, which will help this show spread, so that other people like you can get help. Anyway, so until next week, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Thursday Night Live. Be blessed.